we're going to be doing blonde. I have decided to take my beautiful body wave hair from Westkiss and turn it blonde. Now this was body wave hair, and you guys seen about a week or two ago that I made a wig using the hot glue gun method with this exact hair. That video did very well. You guys seen exactly how we do the wig using the hot glue gun method and all of that greatness. Now I'm showing you that even though that wig was made out of quick hot glue, I was able to apply all this dye and get this beautiful honey blonde color, and it's still intact. The tracks did not melt, fall apart, or anything, and you're gonna see that in just a moment. Also, I'm gonna be doing some more processing to the hair. This is just my midway of me showing you how I got it to blonde. Now thinking of going red or cinnamon, so go in the comments section right now and let me know if you guys want to see a cinnamon, like brownie fall color, or do you guys want to see like an orange color, or do you want to see it a red color? Comment below and let me know. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Now let's get into the video.
So I took my talent outside to my patio. I bought this little table that I could, easily dye hair with, and I just kind of wanted to try it out. So I'm going to be taking my BW bleach. I got the idea to just buy the smaller one, and instead of like dishing it into a bowl, just kind of flip the whole thing into the plastic container and out of the bag and go ahead and just dump it all in there. Next, I'm going to take my 40 volume developer. This is the highest or strongest strength that you can buy, like at Sally's or any over-the-counter store. You have to have a 50, or if you want to get a 50, which is the actual highest, you have to be licensed, I believe. But I found it on Amazon, so I'm going to be trying that next. So basically, all I did was I just went ahead and I separated the hair in half, made sure I detangled it really good. I grabbed some foil, which I ended up not using because I made a huge mess. You guys will see that my kids kept making cameos. I was home watching the kids on this day, and I decided to go ahead and just go outside. I'm like, oh, they'll be fine. They can see me. They can hear me. I can see them. We'll be all good. And they just kept coming back to the door like, Mommy, I can't believe you're leaving me. So I kind of rushed, and you guys will see the end result that it's not going to be as perfect as I would like it. But the good news is I will be able to touch it up, and I am going to be touching it up in just a few days. So stay tuned for the update on this dye job. So here I am just going ahead and applying the mixture. As far as the texture or the measurements, I literally just poured a ton of the 40 volume in there. When you're bleaching knots, you kind of want the mixture to be pretty thick so that it won't run through your lace. But when you are dyeing hair, you kind of want it to be soupy. Now in my case, I could have added more 40, but I didn't. So if it would have been a little bit more loose, it would have been easier to apply and get through the hair. It's been a while since I've kind of like used this method, so to speak, but it was literally like FedEx came to the door, you guys, which I cut out of the scene. My kids were crying, then they started fighting. It's really, really, really hot. You can't tell, but the sun is beaming on me. I literally was just in shambles, and that was not what I planned. So next time I will be a little bit more prepared and just wait to make sure that Daddy is home. Daddy's home. Anyways, this hair was originally body wave texture. I do have a tutorial live that is linked in the description box of my original review of this hair. In that video, you guys see me unbox the hair. You guys see the original beautiful texture of the hair. This was 4 bundles and a frontal, and you guys see me make a hot glue gun wig out of this hair. It came out absolutely gorgeous. But of course, through this process of dyeing the hair, of course, the body wave texture kind of, I won't say it's stripped, but it's not body wave anymore, which is to be expected because typically whenever you get body wave just never really lasts forever unless it's like virgin India hair from like India or something, you know what I mean? So I take the Tangle Teaser brush, and that is the best way to kind of help get the hair through, or get the dye through the hair. And this instance, I thought that this bucket, I was like, I'm going to use the whole bucket and I'm going to be good, and it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough because I should have used more of my 40 volume developer to make it more soupy, to saturate it better, as I said before. So this pretty much was a learning lesson. I did not have enough, so you're going to see in a moment that I'm going to switch containers of dye. Here I am like, no, I'm not done and I don't have enough. So next time I will buy a larger size of the BW bleach, and I will also be sure to add much more developer, because I don't want it to be this thick. You kind of see the texture of it, how like dry the product looks on the hair. Now, if you really want it to like run through, it's almost like you want it to be runny so that it'll like saturate, run through. Like every time I move the hair, it's like, oh, I thought I was done and there's a huge section. I never have this issue. And of course my kids needed me, so I took a break there. Now I'm back with a second tub, and I just kind of, that one I made a lot more loose. So you see how it's more creamy on the hair opposed to before it was dry. You want to make sure that as you're applying it, it's loose and it's ready. And it's going to process just as good as if you don't put as much developer. But it's, again, it's going to help to separate the hair, or sorry, dilute the hair much better. Hopefully I'm making sense. Now, I would also recommend that you section the hair much better than I did. What I would do the next time is I would just take and put the wig on my head. I would section it into like 6 sections and then like put each section in a bun. That way I can work with each section one by one and not miss any hair. And I am sick. I'm so sorry. I've been getting sick so much since my son started school. Like, I don't know what's going on at this school, but you know, something's going to have to give. So now we're over at the sink. I let the hair, once it was completely, all of the product was added, I let it process for about half an hour. Then we ran over to my sink where I rinsed it really good, and I realized I was not filming. So now we're filming. You guys can see how multi-dimensional and gorgeous the color is initially. And again, I brought that tangle teaser over to the sink. This is my favorite way to detangle the hair at the sink. Also, because we added so much dye, just kind of to make sure that I'm combing and brushing out every bit of that hair dye. And I want any chunky powder dye in between my hair when it's on my head. That just sounds scary. Water does stop the process of dyeing, so you really don't have to worry about it like continuing to process. But you still don't want dye, bleach, or any of that in your hair, you know, when it's all said and done. Now you really want to make sure that you rinse it really good, you wash it really good, and you condition it really good. If you don't, it's going to have like a sticky, filmy texture to it. But this is pretty much the end result. I used a purple shampoo. I showed you which ones I did when we cut to the sink scene. And I also used a deep conditioner. All those products will be linked down below. I use the Ion purple shampoo and the silicone mix, but I did have affordable options on the counter for you, like the Sally's GVP versions. Now that I let the wig air dry literally for like 2 days, I came back and I put it on my head, and this was the pretty much the natural texture of the hair. I did run the flat iron through it just a little bit, and here I am. I'm just kind of using the freeze spray really quickly to bond it to my scalp, or I'm sorry, my forehead, because I have a big forehead. And this is just going to help it to look so much more natural. Okay, so I take that back. Beforehand, right here, it is not straightened. Now this is what it looks like straightened. Before, the last scenes were air dried.
Okay, so I am back. I went ahead and added some thick wavy curls to the hair. I kind of just backhanded with my flat iron. Now this is just a step in the road. I actually liked this color, so I went ahead, you guys seen, I just went ahead and free balded and dyed it. Now normally I'm used to like standing the hair up on a wig head and kind of just going from the bottom to the top. I kind of did it on a table that I bought specifically for dyeing hair outside because the smell is so strong and intense when I use the BW bleach. So with the kids home, I prefer to do it outside. You guys kind of see in the video that they're in the background hanging out like, "Mommy, you left us," even though I'm like less than a foot away from them. But it kind of worked out, but it didn't. I guess because I thought since I was going outside, I would be able to like take my time and get through it since I had a bigger workspace than I normally do. But because my kids kind of cried halfway through, or basically through the entire process, I pretty much rushed it. You guys can kind of see imperfections like that right there. So I am going to go back and fix it. This time around, I kind of wanted the hair to be straight so that I can just see exactly where I have flaws, and I'll go in and fix it. And then I'm probably going to dye it a color. Not sure what color, because this is like a midway blonde. This is like a 27. There's so many dimensions, but it's kind of like a 27. It's not quite it's far from 613, but it's, you know, like a nice honey blonde. But I just kind of wanted to show you guys. I kind of like the way I look with this color, but again, it just needs to be fixed up. For reference, this is my body wave hair from Westkiss. You guys seen exactly how I made this wig, and amazing enough, this is a hot glue wig. So you guys watched literally me go from a frontal and 4 bundles of body wave hair to this beautiful wig using the hot glue gun method. You guys seen me actually dye the hair completely. I went ahead and washed the dye out and deep conditioned, and the hair and the wig is still intact. So that lets you know right there, I've done this plenty of times with hot glue gun wigs. Now I would never do this with the 30-second glue, you know, the glue in the like the black glue that you squeeze out. That, if you get that glue wet and put shampoo conditioner, the tracks are gonna just slide off left and right. You might have a few still intact, but pretty much your wig is going to be done. But when you use the hot glue gun method, generally the glue is resistant against like water and shampoo and conditioner. Now your tracks will still eventually lift over time, but just generally speaking, glue, water, hair dye is not going to pull them from the cap. Just saying, don't try this at home if you don't have a plan B. Normally I always have like a handful of backup wigs at all times, so if I mess up, I can have something on my head if needed. But if this isn't your only wig, then I probably would sew the tracks down before I go ahead and bleach, just in case. Worst case scenario, if you do go ahead and you some of your tracks come out, instead of re-gluing them, I would honestly rather you sew them, because I've definitely had my days where like I just had one wig, and when my tracks from the hot glue would lift, I would just try to go back in and re-glue them, of course with the wig off my head, and it just kind of gets cakey and matted and just does too much. Whereas if you sew it back, you know, it's gonna stay and it's not gonna come up again. But yeah, I have no complaints about this hair. Honestly, it didn't really shed too much. I mean, it shedded a little bit more than it did when I made the wig, but that's about it. It did lose the body wave texture, but even when you don't, you guys seen it in the first video, and if you haven't watched the first video on how I made this wig using the hot glue gun method, I do have that linked down below. But if you did tune in, you guys seen that the hair naturally was a beautiful body wave texture, and by the time I styled it, some of that wavy texture was already out, so it was already predictable that the body wave texture would be completely done after the processing, because usually the body wave texture is completely done before the processing, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I don't have any complaints about this hair. Kind of just wanted to show you progress update. I'm thinking about doing one more video with this hair where I show you what color I end up with, and in that video I will show you the process of fixing my imperfections. Like right here, this has to go. So basically you guys will see in that video how I fix and even out my blonde, and then you guys will see how I go ahead and dye it another color. So should I just go honey blonde and tone it? Should I go like a red? So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video, like, comment. I'm always at 100K. So excited, and when I hit 100K, there's gonna be a huge giveaway on this channel. So make sure that you guys are sharing my videos and telling your friends and your family and everyone to subscribe to my channel. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one.